Our industry is intentionally inefficient. We're trying to maintain independent business, one boat, one owner mindset. We throw back 5 to 20 lobsters every day for everyone we catch, everyone we keep. We take great pride into putting something back for the next generation or the next day or the next year. That's how it's done. We're not out there to take what we can. It's a business, but it's a way of life. It's a little bit different.
We all have this romantic view of where lobster is supposed to come, straight from the ocean and right onto our plate. But what about if you're trying to do it at a large scale? We decided to come up to Maine to tag along with Luke of Luke's Lobster to see their process from the start on the boat through the processing facilities, so we could understand how we get to all those delicious lobster rolls at the end.
So the story of ocean to plate, it's super complex and super involved. An average fisherman might catch 30 to 40,000 pounds of lobster in an entire year. And in order for us to serve all of our guests in our 20 some odd shacks, we need about 5 million pounds of lobster. So when you think about it that way, it's a lot of fishermen that we have to work with.
And everything starts there, on the water with a band of Maine lobstermen who've spent generations making sure they can stay on the water.
Maine lobstermen practiced conservation before conservation was cool. It's part of our heritage. Probably close to 100 years in Maine. We protect the lobster that has not reached breeding size, so it's a minimum size. We protect the lobster that has eggs showing. That lobster must go back. And we also have a maximum size.
You've got 12 hours on the boat, 150 to 250 days a year. You really don't have time to do a lot of other things. So the best thing you can do is to try to ensure that your lobster is sustainable and the price you're getting for it is reasonable.
It's a tough job being a lobsterman, up before sunrise, pulling up trap after trap.
So swing it and then lift when you get up top.
Yes, it's really as heavy as it looks. How was that?
Those are the biggest traps in the industry.
And a huge code of ethics about catching and releasing that's ingrained in the business.
You know, we've limited the traps, we've got escape vents in the traps to let the smaller ones out. We throw back the large ones, we throw back the small ones, we throw back the females with eggs. We throw back the females that have had eggs that we have since marked. So we've done a lot of things to make this a healthy resource. Because of that, we've gone over 100 million pounds.
But once a lobster's ashore, on a larger scale, not everyone's buying a whole lobster from a tank. When you get a tail or a roll with mostly claws, that lobster has to get processed.
As soon as that lobster comes out of the water, as soon as that fisherman catches it, that very same day or the next morning, it's going on a truck to our processing facility. Once you take a lobster out of the water, it starts to eat its own lipids, its fats. It starts to lose flavor. So the best thing you can do to preserve quality of a lobster is really to cook it as soon as it comes out of the water. It's not to put it in a glass tank and let it sit there and then take it home and put it in your fridge and cook it when you're ready to cook it. It's cook it as soon as it comes out of the water.
Inside Luke's, they aim to waste nothing. There's lobster steaming, lobster sectioning, lobster picking. With a product this valuable, you want to get every piece.
We're taking that lobster, we're running it through a stunner, knock out its nervous system, and we're taking that lobster apart and grating it into pieces. And so it's the concept of a smaller claw shouldn't be cooked as long as a bigger claw, or a claw shouldn't be cooked the same time as a tail.
And it's that process over and over again, every lobster season, to get lobsters from the ocean right onto the plate or the roll.
Monotonous gives the wrong impression, but it's a monotonous process. It's hauling and setting, hauling and setting. But it's not like a boring monotony, it's an exciting thing because we're waiting to see what's in the next trap every trap we haul.